Now, World Antibiotic Awareness Week was created to raise consciousness every November 18th to 24th about antibiotic resistance and how the medical community educates about the proper use of these disease-fighting drugs. Antimicrobial resistance is a threat to humans, animals, plants, and the environment. This is why this year's theme calls for collaboration across sectors to preserve the efficacy of these critical medicines. Fighting MAR is a crucial global endeavor and must be addressed through a One Health approach. Ezekiel Oga tells us more.
When used properly, antibiotics are potent drugs that treat some infections and can even save lives. They either kill bacteria or prevent them from multiplying. Antimicrobial resistance is a condition in which bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites evolve over time and cease to be responsive to drugs. This makes infections more difficult to cure and raises the risk of disease transmission, life-threatening sickness, and death. According to the World Health Organization, antibiotic resistance is a condition in which bacteria adapt to the use of antimicrobial drugs.
Antimicrobials are drugs used for microbes. Microbes include bacteria, viruses, fungal infection, and in fact parasitic infections. So it's a wide range. Now, a lot of people, when we talk about antimicrobial, they tend to think antimicrobial has to do with only drugs against bacteria, which are the antibiotics. But really, antimicrobial covers against all microbes, in which bacteria are inclusive.
Biotics Awareness Week is just to tell people how antibiotics will be used so that the benefit of it will be better and will outweigh the disadvantages of using antibiotics. So when the community gets to know the use of antibiotics, it will help to reduce the problem that abuse of antibiotics can bring, which is resistance to antibiotics.
Definitely, we need to let the people out there, especially the end users, to know that antibiotics are not just drugs. They are drugs that we call prescription drugs. They could be poison. Because why? The way the end users, they use it. In fact, today, I had an encounter with somebody that was saying that a type of antibiotic can be used after sex to prevent infection. You can imagine that there are a lot of false information about antibiotics.
The World Health Organization, the United Nations Environment Programme, the World Organization for Animal Health, and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations jointly announced that the theme of World Antimicrobial Awareness Week 2022 is Preventing Antimicrobial Resistance Together. Every November 18th to 24th, World Antibiotic Awareness Week brings attention to antibiotic resistance and the ways that the medical profession is teaching the public about how to use these antibiotics effectively to treat disease.
When you talk about resistance, what it simply means is this. The drug we are using is no longer effective against that microbes.
If you look at history, right from when antibiotics were discovered by Fleming, the first statement that scientist made was that these drugs that will kill an organism, the organism will fight back. And there will be some time that this drug will not be useful, and that will call resistance. And that is where the word antibiotic resistance comes from.
Antibiotic resistance is just a term to let you know that, like any other drugs, the moment you start using it, you abuse it in terms of dosage, in terms of without prescription, the drug may not be able to achieve what has been set for it to achieve in terms of giving you better outcomes.
The danger of antibiotic resistance is that treatable illnesses such as pneumonia, tuberculosis, or minor infections could become incurable. This would put a greater economic and emotional burden on families and on the healthcare system.
For every everything treated, make sure you know the cause and you are treated properly.
If you want to advise the community, you will start from the farmers, the way they use their chemicals. And also you come to the hospital, the way they dispose whatever that comes from the hospital in such a way that it will not give room for exposure.
The advice is generally that they should not just take drugs without doctor's prescriptions, number one. Number two, they should also see their pharmacist to counsel them on the drugs to use.
To call on all sectors to encourage the prudent use of antimicrobials and to strengthen preventive measures addressing antimicrobial resistance by working together collaboratively through a One Health approach. Ezekiel Ogre, reporting for KAFTAN TV News.